Good morning. It is a beautiful sunny day. It's not too hot out, but it is late April. We're after Easter now, and the garden is looking really beautiful. A lot of spring things are happening. The daffodils are gone. There's a few last tulips left, but we're starting to see some roses and some other things are coming into bloom. And I just wanted to do a garden tour, see where everything's at this kind of late April. I'll start out here. This is as you arrive at our house, and some of the Metilla hot poppies are already starting to bloom, and those are just such beautiful, wonderful flowers. I love them. There's a huge stand of them here, but I just really love them. I always wanted Metilla hot poppies, and when we had this garden and there was space for them to kind of ramble a little bit, I said I'm planting some. And I planted one, and look at it all. So it's definitely a spreader, so be careful if you don't have space for it. And I can't get close enough to the flowers, but they look like giant eggs to me. And if we go up this way a little bit, this was an allium I planted, and behind it there's some columbine greenery you can see. This scabiosa is a really pretty one. So the color scheme on the front here is red, white, green. This is a rock rose, so it looks a lot like the Metilla hot poppy. Each flower will bloom for one day and then die, so that's why there's so many petals all over the ground. But you can see it's just loaded up with buds. And this was recently smashed by this maple tree, which split. We lost a big branch this direction last year, and this year the rest of it came down and smashed. There were two of these plants here, and it looks like there's a lot of broken branches in there to clean up. But that's a job for another day. But now these hollyhocks that are here are getting a lot more sun, so maybe we'll get more flowers off of them. And this is the oak. This is a native tree here, and it's gonna have a good chance. This is the Pittosporum, which is a hedging plant here. These are all kind of volunteers except for the hollyhocks I planted. This is Cotoneaster. Here it has a red, let me grab it. Has a red berry in the winter, and then really pretty white flowers. And this one looks like a prostrate version, so I'm gonna let it become kind of a low ground cover here. And this area is filling in nicely. This is a tea, and I just love this color. It's so vibrant. And there's another white one back there. This is an Indian hawthorn. And I do have a Photinia there, that's the red leaf, and a verbena, viburnum, verbena. Anyway, I started some Gara from seed, and this is those. They've been planted out here. And these are a geranium that have a burgundy flower. This is a Ranga lily, really pretty white, very full lily. And just kind of heading up this way and looking back at it, I do have a lot of opportunity to fill this area in with some lower growing things. We have deer that come and they graze along all these plants, so that's why they're shorter, and that's why we have the deer fence. And this giant eucalyptus, it's hard to see but it's way up there, has dropped us 4 or 5 new trees, and I'm not sure yet whether I want them. I like the blue color of them for now, so they're gonna be here for now. There's another tea there, and a different kind of tea with a burgundy leaf here, and then it has a white flower, a big breast of white flower. So the color scheme is kind of a burgundy red, white, and green in this area. On this side of the driveway, we have a ton of this Mexican sage. More of that paradise, I believe, manzanita here. This, I love this sage. I really want to try to propagate more of it. I think it was called an autumn sage. I mean, this color is just, it pops out here. This is Photinia. It's red. Starts out red and then the leaves turn green. And we have finally gotten this stood up straight. It's a hopseed bush, and I think it'll do better now that it's standing up straight. In here is, there is a red bud. See, this round leaf is a red bud. It's very small. It's being shaded over by this viburnum, but it will eventually overtake it. And then this plant here is an Arabian, I believe, lilac. It has a purple flower, and if you look at the back of it, the leaves are purple, but the front's green. And it grows quite big. So I've cut everything back, or I didn't cut everything back, I asked everything to be cut back, and the grape's gonna start going great guns here soon, and it'll completely cover our fence again, and eventually all of this will grow up and you will just see plants and no more fence. I have a few columbine here, and I have a whole tray of columbine to plant on this side and on this side of the driveway. So another tray of columbine to come in on this side. These are hellebores I planted earlier in the year. I need to run another water line. The hellebores don't seem super happy. This is a burgundy columbine. It's really pretty. See a white columbine in there. These are fortnight lilies. And there is a bunch of the Mexican sage in this area as well. So we'll get a striking purple flower and a lily. This is a, I believe, a Casablanca. No, Stargazer lily. There. There's another one over here. So this area is kind of finally coming together. It was just these fortnight lilies for a really long time. And so another columbine. So I want to come in with a whole bunch of columbine along here as well, because it'll give a different leaf texture. So columbine has this really fun, almost clover-like leaf texture. And there's tons of this strappy texture. This is a volunteer poppy, Matilda poppy. Look how far it came from over there. I mean, that's 20 feet. Came 20 feet, oops, 20 feet over. They are fairly easy to just pull out if you don't want them really show up. And this is a succulent arrangement. I think the video just went out, though it's been months. And things are doing fairly well. Growing in, surviving. And I just love this. It's kind of going out of bloom now, but we have a jasmine, pink jasmine vine here on the fence, and it creates this beautiful scent. So when you come in, you're greeted with that. And coming onto the front porch, gotten a lot of plant orders, which I still have, the videos have yet to come out, but they landed on the porch. And then I organized them and said this one goes in this area, and they have now been shifted and planted. So the front porch is kind of clearing back out again a little bit. I have some kale there. It's bolted. I'm gonna take to the chickens. But just begonias and begonias. So these are Rex begonia, and then this is a different type, tuberous begonia. And just kind of a mix of fun begonias and succulents. This is a St. John's wort, which has these really fun yellow balls. They kind of turn an orangey color and a yellow flower. And another begonia. And so begonias and succulents. And we're just past Easter, so we have our little Easter arrangements. These are all coleus I've grown from seed. Got them out here hardening them off. Let's see what colors they are. This one's chocolate mint. This one, I believe, is chocolate cherry. Chocolate covered cherry, which sure looks like that. And then this one's a mix. I like the mix because you get a little bit of these lighter yellow ones, green and yellow. So, this area did get quite a clean out. There's grass growing and everything, including this pot had an aloe in it that was so covered with grass you couldn't even see it. So I said, just dump it out. I'm gonna start over. So things are coming along with begonias here that are not up yet. And these things remain to be planted. This is Ugni Moline variegated. It's a Chilean guava. And then this one's a strawberry guava. Here's a sedum, autumn joy, I believe. And kalanchoe blooming a little bit. Look at this gigantus Christmas cactus. And so we have some mango trees that have yet to be planted and a Eureka lemon that's yet to be planted. Some more Chilean guava and a watermelon. These are honeyberries, I believe. And they have yet to produce anything. This is their second year I've had them. Look at these kalanchoe, aren't they beautiful? And the herb pots over there just are really, the chives are always a stunner in the spring. And then this back here is a flax flamingo. So it has this really bright pink flower stalk. And when it blooms, and it's just amazing. And I've been looking and looking and looking for something for that pot because this area just needed, something else. And that there was none of that strappy texture. And when I put that there, it was like, yeah, that's it, perfect. So we'll head up this way. This is one of my favorite views for sure. We have all the sea of rosemary here, but it's 3 different colors. It's now mainly out of bloom, but there's a blue on this side, and then a purple here, and then a lighter blue behind. And then this is also the citrus orchard, and some of the citrus are in bloom, and it's just so fragrant and amazing. Look at the blooms. This is a Caracara navel. It's very small still. And the artichokes are looking great. This is that one's a finger lime there. Few rose blooms here. The scent is just amazing here right now. It's just amazing. I'm starting to see, there's a lizard and some allium poking up. Look at this sage. I think it's a salvia rather. Isn't that amazing? Quite a purple. And then these are California coastal poppies that are just native. I don't plant them. They happen where they happen. And this is the tree that is just, the fragrance is amazing. Look at all these blooms. This is a Vanessa Bell rose, and it is loaded with buds. It's gonna go. Look at these chives. I put a couple chives here on either side of the top of the stairway, and they sure are a bright spot. And this way, this is the blueberry patch here on the left, and there's some the bright green leaf there is persimmon. Lilacs are blooming here right now and backed by the artichokes. And look at these. These are a globe artichoke. They sure are a globe. All the lilacs. So this area has really changed in the last year. Planted, there were the fig trees were here. But then planted the roses and all of the accompanying plants and really created this bed. The branches are from that tree that fell down, helping us define our walkways. This is a Desdemona rose. Isn't that beautiful? This hedge here is a feijoa, kind of a blue hedge there. It's a feijoa. And it's a pretty tough plant. It breaks when the volleyballs hit it, but it's pretty tough. Yet to have fruit off it, but when we do, it's pineapple guava, and it is just delicious. If I go this way, here's our mulberry tree. Oops, it's windy. This is peppermint pelargonium, or peppermint geranium, and it will take over. This was 5 plants over there, and it just really took over. Put a few on this side as well, and it's what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to create a field of, you know, a solid area that's one plant, a monoculture area. And it has, ooh, look at our meadow sage is starting to bloom. This gross bucket is it's a mosquito bucket. I feel like I always have to explain it. You put mosquito bits in it, and it attracts the mosquitoes to the water, and then the larvae don't survive. These big green leafies are wedding candles rubascum, and there's 3 of them in there, and then the meadow sage. And we do have a new volleyball net. It's a little bit stronger. This is my Meyer lemon tree. We just made a bunch of Meyer lemon desserts for Easter. There's also a bunch of lavender in here, and this is kind of interesting. This is a spittle bug is doing this. See this? They lay their eggs in a pile of spittle. So you see it all over, and I have yet to determine whether it's a problem and I need to spray for it, or whether I'm just going to leave it alone. Look at all these blueberries. This is the first year the blueberries have really had enough production on them to feel like they're worth it. Usually we've had like 10 berries, but this is the 3rd or 4th year for this side of them. First year for this side. I just planted, extended it onto this side last year. It's going to be interesting to see how much this changes, because the bee balm right there grows up really tall. If it comes back, hopefully there's a big dahlia in there that's white and yellow, and a bunch of Lysianthus planted in here. This side we have meadow rue, a couple meadow rue, snapdragons, lavender, alliums, larkspur, sages, agastache, all kinds of things that hopefully will come up succession after all of this. This is miner's lettuce here, and it comes up everywhere, and it's a great little ground cover in the spring and gives us a lot of green. It's also edible, so once that all fades back, then the other things will hopefully be coming up. Like here's a snapdragon, and you see the echinacea coming back. That I think is an agastache there. Anywho, I haven't walked this way much. So walking this way, this is a Geranium majorense. Last year I had some in bloom. They're biennial. And so I doubt I'll have any blooming this year, but they spread themselves everywhere, and they have these, I like it, I'm happy for it. some other hardy geraniums. So here's some more of this geranium Madura. It's from Madura. And they just have these gorgeous big purple big puffball purple flowers, but not this year. This is a hebe, and I typically hedge trim it into a ball, and just to leave us space to walk past it mainly. Here are two pomegranates that will never, ever, ever give us fruit, but they're here and they're really hard to dig out, so we're leaving them. Some heuchera with a bright pink. And last year I came in with a lot of ferns in this area, so they are doing well. This is a campanula here, and there's a pink heuchera in there, a lighter pink heuchera. It's another mosquito bucket. And this year I really did a lot of hostas. I was all about, I want some hostas in my yard. So coming up through the shade here, shade garden, there are more hostas for sure. This area under here, I've yet to do anything. I want to underplant it, maybe with ferns. I wonder what happened to that fern. Oh well. But this is my fern area, though I did put one hosta. But really, I mainly want to have a bunch of ferns in this area, different types. It's a somewhat sunny day today. And through here, I always get stomped by kids playing volleyball. But a lot of the plants that I have unboxed, and the videos are yet to come, have been planted here. Hostas. This is a rose columbine I grew from seed. This is a sweet spire, sweet box, or sweet box maybe. It's proven winners. This is the first lily of the valley that has ever bloomed here. It is so dry here that if it doesn't have a ton of water to it, they just die. So fear not, they do not spread in our area. And I'm trying to get this anemone. This is a white Japanese anemone. I like that one. So hosta, Virginia, columbine, more Virginia. Here's some bleeding hearts there, Decentra. This is a Viola odorata. I just love the shape of the leaf, and down in there's a purple flower. Kind of got smashed when it got planted, I guess. Some hellebores, a bunch of hellebores in here, and some hostas finally maybe breaking through. I gotta fight the snails, give them enough water, and yet fight the snails and slugs to get plants to grow here, because if I irrigate anything, then the snails find it immediately, and then they eat it before it can grow. But if I don't irrigate it, it doesn't even get a chance. So, it doesn't look like that one Loropetalum right there is doing very well. I don't think it got enough water. Look how big these geranium madurants get. It's just huge, huge. And the pink flower here is a poor man's rhododendron. It's actually an impatient. It's like a tree impatient. And it reseeds very easily, and it's spreading itself here, and I'm happy about it. You can also very easily use cuttings, take cuttings and do it. So this is one of the seed pods. If you just gently roll it in your hand, it pops and flings seeds everywhere, and that's how it reseeds itself. You don't need to people don't need to come and roll their hands on it. It just, at some point, enough tension builds up and it pops. Anyway, this is a really pretty, ouch, but short very pretty but short fuchsia. Hoping it'll keep growing taller and taller. And this is the pink flowering currant. No more flowers on it right now, but it sure was gorgeous when it was in bloom. And I have a bunch of lilies that I planted in this area. They're about to bloom, it looks like. This is another cistus rock rose. It's a pink variety. And so looking back this direction, this is all shade on this side. So I'm really have a lot of opportunity to plant shade plants here. And I have tried to do kind of a different feel. So there's ferns, and then this is Virginias and hellebores start there, and then more hostas and hellebores going this way. These are some foxglove I grew from seed, pink gin, or gin pink. We'll go back down this way. The orchard is looking great. All the daffodils are mainly gone, but we're getting some ranunculus here. This, I believe, is the Paris, from the Paris in Spring collection. And these lily tulips just are beautiful. They're like a light yellow and they shine, and here and back in there. I need to get more of those. They're late tulip, which is great because the other tulips are all gone now and daffodils are gone. But the orchard is filling in. You can see all the raspberries back there. Funny, some of these branches on the apricot look not so good. That branch doesn't look good, I don't know why. Huh. Take it off. So this glorious plant here is catnip. Just the herb catnip, and it just becomes this huge, wonderful architectural ball shape, naturally kind of a ball shape, and then it has pretty purple, light white purple flower stalks on it. It's just, I love it. I plant it as much as I can. I see the greenery for a bunch of drumstick alliums here. They're not up yet, but I'm seeing the roses are coming in. Annabelle hydrangeas are coming in, and then these are peonies here. There's one peony in bloom around the corner here. One peony in bloom. It's very small. That's its first year. These are, I don't know if I started these snapdragons this year or last year anymore. Stock, I know I started last year. These are glorious anemones or ranunculus. Look at this blackberry. They've got these gigantic, big, glorious blackberries on them, and they're wonderful. So heavy. It needs the support that I put here for it. But looking back this way into the orchard, everything's, the trees have been size checked and sprayed this year, though it doesn't seem like it worked on the peach. I still have peach leaf curl pretty bad, but it's nice to have them all size checked, and I think they're going to be much healthier going forward. So coming back here from the house, we're going to go this way this time. Left a water bottle there. Finally got some bells of Ireland. I have been trying to grow those for about 3 years. Finally got some, and I have some more started in a seed tray that I'll plant out and around. And this is this citrus tree is a Buddha's hand citrus. I'll don't see any on it right now. But they're really interesting shaped citrus. These are strawberry guavas down here on the way into the vegetable beds. These are upper veggie beds, and the carrots are all going to seed. I'm just going to let them. Kale I'm pulling and giving to the chickens because it's bolted. And we've gotten a bunch more beds set up here. So there's another green stalk for strawberries. And this one, once I can pull all these and give them to the chickens, then tomatoes will go into these beds. But there are a few snap peas that I started a long time ago. This bed was more shaded by carrots, or I don't know. I don't know why, but there were less sizable plants in this one. But we do have some snap peas. But they didn't make their way all the way up the pole, whereas these other ones did. On this side. And we need to dig up from our yard. We have an old strawberry patch over there. We need to dig up from the yard the strawberries and fill the rest of these up. Oh, very exciting. 2 banana trees. These are Cavendish bananas. And I figure the light reflecting off this building, these windows, I think will really give it a chance here. And we've planted some squash and watermelon, cantaloupe, things that normally get powdery mildew here. I figured maybe getting like just hot radiation off of the windows might dry them out enough so that that doesn't happen. So there's watermelon, cantaloupe, zucchini, squash, cucumbers, those kind of things planted in these other 3 little shorter beds, but that are high enough off the ground that bunnies aren't going to get them. So, and then my husband, lovely husband, weed whacked the area so I'm not so sketched out. Look, strawberries. That one looks only a little bit eaten by slugs. Only a little bit. Got a treat for slugs. Anyway. And then these, look at the size of these sweet peas. Not sweet peas, snap peas. These are just really, really nice big plants, but not really seeing a lot of peas on them yet, but we will. So this is the upper veggie beds. This whole fence is thornless blackberries, and then the beds are filled with various different vegetables throughout the season. And look at these. Let's see, I just saw one from far away. Look at this. Look at this blackberry. Look at that. Gorgeous. Yum. So on the other end, there's 2 strawberry guava trees. So I'm gonna actually do a little hedge of strawberry guava trees right here and leave an opening to get in. Trying to grow as many foods and fruits as I can, and then that will kind of create another little garden room here for that. I love coming down into the woods this time of year. All of the heuchera, the pink heuchera are blooming, and there's a few of the yellow oxalis left. My mom's like, why don't you pull that? And I said, well, I like the way that it looks with the pink heuchera. And we have a native blackberry that's just gone crazy over here and mixed in with bubblegum tradescantia. I have a philodendron over there, split leaf philodendron that I'm hoping will kind of go up that oak tree. And we need to do some weeding on this side, I see, but it's looking fairly good. This is kind of, I wanted it to look more tropical when you got down into this area, so I'm using a lot of yellows and greens. So this is a canna with an orange flower, pink, yellow and green leaves and an orange flower, pinks, purples, yellows, oranges are the color scheme in this room. And I finally got some. What has been happening? Look at the ground. What the heck? Is this a mole? It's crazy. Oh my god, right there. Literally is right there. I wonder what it is. We definitely have moles here. See the ground moving? Don't think it's a gopher because they tend to go deeper. It's okay, we have moles. So finally got some ginger here. This is a typical common ginger, I think it's called. I have that poor man's rhododendron or impatient there. This is a bright pink, bright pink hydrangea, and it is about to bloom. And I have 5 or 6 more that I've propagated in the pool room, and I have them waiting to come out here. But I just love this area. It's just very tropical to me, and that's what I was looking for. And very lush and shady. It doesn't get super hot here. It only gets into the 80s, but for us that's hot because we have such high humidity. We don't get much rain. We have very high humidity and not very much heat. But I just love the way that this is coming together in here. These are those geranium majorants again. They're going to get a huge bloom stalk, but not yet. And this is lime irisine. And I also have a bunch of pink irisine in the pool room that I've propagated. But over here is very sort of beaten down pink irisine bloodleaf. These giant ones are tree coleus. They indeed are turning into trees. It's also called toilet paper plant. It's very soft and has kind of a light minty flavor. Smell, not flavor. Don't eat it. There are quite a few of these hydrangeas in here already, but I want to put a bunch more because when they are pink, it is glorious in here. Let's see, what other plants do we really have in here? So this is an oak forest. It's a California coastal oak, I believe, and it's evergreen, and it's pretty nice deep shade in here. It's a nice relief on the hot days, like I said. I have a bunch of bromeliads that are started in this area, started trying to do, and I have a couple hostas that aren't doing it, and I have some cladiums I've planted, but I'm not sure whether they're going to come up either. Everything's along the water line, so there's no reason for them not to, but weird things like this happen. Like this is a hosta, and it's, I don't know, maybe it'll try again. It should be getting water anyway. This one is ageratum here. It's purple, looks like a purple puffball. So pink, purple, yellow, and of course green. But one of my favorite things about this, the lime irisine, is this bright pink stem, and that's what really, resonates and vibrates with the pink over here, the pink heuchera, and then when the pink hydrangeas are in bloom and they're backed by the lime irisine, it's amazing. So let's go up this way. This is a disocactus, not blooming yet. When it does, it's amazing. And I have some iris that I just noticed. First iris almost coming into bloom here. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm noticing places I need to put another water line. I need another water line along here. This is one of our passion fruit vines. We have 2. There's one on the other side of the court there. And it is very, very productive. Here's a passion fruit. Not ripe yet. It needs to. They're ripe when they're all shriveled up. But this one just fell right off, so it's ready to You can eat it now, just much more tart. Better when it's been let to cure and shrivel a little bit. Heading up this way out of the woods. Do have a few hostas that are making it. There's one. And there's one on this side. And we added one more peach tree because I love peaches. And so having as many peaches as possible is important to me, whereas other people love the plums and I don't really like plums. But just had this area all planted up. I started this Dusty Miller from seed, started those Columbine from seed, hoping they survive here. There is a Catalpa, El Nino Catalpa right there, which should grow and fill in this area so that it's kind of a more of a shaded, interesting walk down into the shade garden. And then I can plant some more shade loving things, you know, or maybe more hostas in this area. This is our tunnel of blackberries. This is a native blackberry that's very, very, very thorny, but also very good. So figured growing it up over a tunnel would be the best. I have lilac back there, another white rock rose. These are the plum trees, 4 plums, 4 apricots, 2 apples, 2 cherries, a couple more, not an apricot, maybe it is an apricot. Anywho, but the peaches, you know, I sprayed them, I really did. I came out and sprayed them and they all have peach leaf curl, which is a little bit of a bummer. Not sure, this one looks very unhappy. So I'm gonna just have to do it even more in depth again next time. Do a better job next time. I need to come out here with gloves on and pull all these leaves off and dispose of them because they will just spread it more. It's a fungus. Tulips are gone. Ooh, this looks like this can be released. It's big enough now that nobody will accidentally weed it out. This really tall thing, this is a tuberosa, Nepeta tuberosa. Isn't that cool? And this is all just raspberries. Tons and tons and tons of, this is a gold raspberry. They spread. I don't know if you knew that. Now you know. They spread. I have lavender in here. I have roses. Hydrangea. There's a hydrangea back there. And then these are the red raspberries on this side, and they're not quite as vigorously spreading, but they don't get as much sun in the winter. But lavender, chives, I try to throw unexpected things in places. This is more of the shade walk. This is an elderberry. This is a Kool-Aid tree. It has these little pink, not pink, little purple flowers that really do smell like Kool-Aid. And so going this way, lots more hellebores. Hostas have been planted here. Hostas, hellebores. There's a little tiny bit of Kensington ivy, hoping it'll survive. Goat's beard, anemones, bleeding hearts, heuchera. So all the shade plants in here, kind of trying to fill this area in. It's been neglected. This is a white dogwood tree, which I think will be really cool once it kind of grows up through here and it has the white flowers. More hellebores, hostas. This is a hydrangea. Look at this hosta. This one was planted last year and it's quite happy. It's doing well. It's a guacamole hosta. And just a bunch more hostas dotted through here, hydrangeas, and Japanese anemones, hellebores. So, shade garden. And this wonderful drapey tree is not an elm. It is a Australian peppermint, New Zealand peppermint, and it has these cute white flowers. I use them a lot in arrangements, and it's evergreen, which is great because then we don't lose our screen to the street when it, if it goes deciduous. So it's one of my favorite trees here. I love its drapiness. The orchard is so full. It was so empty when we moved in, and it's just been a lot of filling in with little flower plants here and there, and it's finally become a really lush ecosystem, and that's really great. I'm very excited for it in the future as it goes on. Go this way into the blue garden. Some foxglove. So the blue garden is really, I've been working on it in the last year, gathering plants for it and growing seeds for it. Some ajuga, Caitlin's giant ajuga. These, I believe, those might be foxglove. Yeah, probably foxglove. Anemone, Japanese anemone. There's another hellebore. Lilac. A lot of the blue plants, blue spring flowers are on their way out. This is one of the blue spring flowers. It's a blue anemone. So a bunch of the hostas are coming up back in here in the shade. And there are a bunch of irises planted throughout here, so hopefully they'll come up. That's a Siberian giant Brunnera. It's not very giant. Maybe it will be in a couple years. There's some still be coming up here. Flax, variegated flax. This is a flax lily. There's something else that's blue and wonderful that I planted right there. I can't remember. Some more of those blue anemones. So this staircase my husband put in this last year, and so now that I have something to plant along instead of just a slope, I've been planting along both sides. I mean, I do weird things like Brunnera and sage and things that are more vegetable garden, but I put them out here in the landscape. So I have a bunch of hostas along the side down there, and I guess I have to try to go down there. I'll go around on the bottom. I don't want to go down the stairs. But all this rosemary was here, and so we've just been slowly adding things in. There's a hosta. This is a blue columbine. Along on this side, there are 3 big, huge blue hydrangeas. One back there, one here. So we'll see how those do this year, if they hold their color in our soil. If so, I'm going to propagate some of them. Hydrangeas are fairly easy to propagate. These violas are cool. Pansies, rather. Pansies. More hostas. Lady's mantle coming in. This wonderful, beautiful flower, one of my favorites, is blue honeywort and or Cyrinth. And I have a bunch more of it that I started from seed that I've dotted through this area back in here, because these fortnight lilies will bloom every 2 weeks. There's our pile of wood chips. Fortnight lilies bloom every 2 weeks, and so having this, the white, they bloom white with purple, having that with this blue Cyrinth, I think is really pretty. These lilies are stream lilies, are blooming. These have been here about 3 years, and this is the first time they've really had a good bloom year. It's very dry, so I don't know why. There's some toad lilies that are coming up. I see their spotted leaves down there. And if you look up in this tree, it's another one of my favorite little things. This is a clematis, purple jack something. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? This whole area started to be purple and blue because we hung this purple swing here for the kids. That's what started it. That's what made this whole area become the purple and blue garden. But we just call it the blue garden. My husband's building a sidewalk to skateboard on and for me to use my wheelchair, which I will need, no doubt, when I'm a little bit older. Looking at the blue garden from the bottom, there's some blue-eyed grass, bachelor buttons, anemones, the cerinthe, or the holly, honeywort. This is lily rope. More of these anemones. I just tried to pack everything I could. This is the one little sunny spot of the blue garden. This is a Pride of Madeira, and I've propagated a bunch of it and put it on the outside of the fence because deer won't eat it because it's fuzzy and prickly. And it has these really pretty blue flower spikes. But then when they go out of bloom, my instinct was, first year I cut them, but I left them last year and they became this variegated white and green, almost like a panicle hydrangea look. So I'm gonna leave them this year. And another area that I'm just working on. You can always tell I've just been working on an area. Just said, hey, there's a bunch of plants I need to plant. Go run me irrigation, and I'll set the plants out there. So these are, don't even remember the name of most of them. We'll have to see when they come up, and then I can talk about them more. This area needs something. Down in here, some sort of wonderful low ground cover. Some more hostas. This is one I wanted to come down around the bottom and look at. Agapanthus. Yes, agapanthus. It's kind of hard to see, but anything blue. I just was, give me blue flowers, and that's really been kind of fun searching for things that are blue. Blues and purples. And then this is a canyon sunflower, and that's a native, California native, and I have a bunch of hummingbird sage over here, which there actually is one blooming. One hummingbird sage blooming here. So that's what that looks like, and that grows under oaks, and I'm not watering it, not doing anything, and it's spreading itself under here, which is what I wanted it to do. I like to have some areas that are, we don't have lawns, but I do like to have some areas that are monoculture so that it kind of gives you a rest for your eye, and it also makes a big impact when it's all blooming. It's really a strong impact. And this, we really have got to take this blackberry out. It literally never has any blackberries on it. It's a native blackberry. It's going to spread itself everywhere, but I'd rather plant something wonderful right here, like a blue hydrangea. Nothing to cut yet, but we've got the rows and everything is taking so far. I've only had to replant a few things. I ended up moving. I had planted a bunch of lupin on this part, and I needed room for celosia, so we moved the lupin over to this side, and I think that'll be pretty. Have a big lupin pile of lupin here at the base of the statue, and then it's backed by this beautiful ceanothus. And this is Catalina cherry, and it's going to grow up and become a nice glossy green hedge here. And then the sages and the other more natives on this end of the cut flower garden, and then the flowers. So I'm excited. At first when we put everything out here, you needed the flags because you couldn't see anything, and now you definitely can see the rows. And the earliest thing that I started was the snapdragons, and they are the hollyhocks and snapdragons. Ooh, this is geranium I started last year from seed. But look at all the snapdragons. They're all have buds. They're all ready to go. So they are going to be blooming soon. Very exciting. I love the way that this trampoline garden is coming together. This is a native Montana d'Oro strawberry. You can see the strawberry right there. Very tutti frutti flavor, and I just love the color scheme here. This is a red bud, and then heuchera, that leucospermum back in there. The smoke bush is the dark red. This yellow and orange and green here is a mirror plant. There's a crepe myrtle bush that I saved, and there's got some Mexican sage with it, so we're gonna get some purple in this area fairly soon. I see that the what's that one called? It's the one that's anti-mosquito. Anyway, it's blooming. I really love how this garden came together. The colors have just been really neat this spring. They're getting a little warm for as we warm up. But now the purple is going to come, which is a much cooler, it's a cooling color. And I think it'll be really neat. These are finally blooming. See that allium? You probably can't see it very well. This allium right there. So, what is it? Mediterranean allium. Smoke bush is doing well. Heuchera is just amazing. Euphorbia is looking pretty cool. I seem to have somehow gotten one of the wedding candles verbascum in this geranium here. So that's going to be interesting to have a big white spire in this. And I think that it's all coming together really well. The avocado behind it even goes well. And it looks like my kiwi, this kiwi is the big leaf here, is trying to fight its way out of passion fruit. But I've yet to see a kiwi fruit. We'll see. Hopefully it'll make it. This area will soon, within a couple months, be just Zinnia Central. It's the California giant zinnias, and I sow hundreds of them. And then this area just turns into this beautiful flower walk, and I am gonna, I think, continue them along that side and that side of the path going up this way. So someday I want to plug the hole in this and put water lilies or something in this. But I'm going to continue the zinnias along here, along the path, and along that swirl over there, and along till it gets to be shady on that part. While other things grow in, I'm just going to do those as, the focal point here, and I can grow hundreds of them and make a lot of flower arrangements with them. So I'm going this way into the Asian garden, and it's slowly coming together. Look at these beautiful. These I grew from seed last year. These are my word, why is it? Snapdragon. There we go. Beautiful snapdragon. This is an albutilon. And this Japanese maple is coming back. So that's nice. And I was walking down this the other day. And I realized that the path, these logs were about 2 feet in this way. And I was like, why are we doing that? We don't need an 8-foot wide pathway. 6 feet's enough. So rolled them out, ran a new water line. And I have a bunch of begonias I'm growing from seed, so those will start, filling this area in with begonias, and I think that'll be really pretty to just kind of have a carpet of red begonias with different, the dark leaved and the green leaved, and I think that'll just be really cool. And this is the biggest columbine I've ever seen. It's taking over this albutilon. This is a red albutilon with the kind of flame-looking flower, sorry. And I just think that's gorgeous. And I'm gonna plant one of the mango trees right here. I think I see a dahlia coming up. Interesting. Where I was going to put the mango. I'd have to move it. I did come in with more blackberries through here. Love this red maple, red Japanese maple. It's just gorgeous. That rose on the fence is gorgeous. It's so thorny though. And you know, our evergreens that show up in the winter are pretty much buried right now under these poppies. These are, again, a mix of California poppy, which are all orange, and then the coastal poppy, which are orange and yellow. And I have blueberries in here as well, because why not plant food? And soon, this magnolia will grow up, and this bottle brush will continue to grow, and we'll have more of a green archway here that'll block us off from the next garden, which is my office garden. But this is really pretty right now. Albutilon, snapdragons, salvia, red salvia, and then this, the Chinese lantern plant, is just really happy here. Look at all of those flowers. This is a type of albutilon. It's very happy here. And then this is my office garden, which is pinks, oranges, yellows, and a pop of blue. A little spot of blue. So I have 2 borage plants that never spread, never do anything, never go anywhere. There's one there, one in the middle there. And most of the plants in this area are a lion's tail sage. That's what all this greenery is. They have yet to send up their bloom spikes this year. Here's a really pretty rose. I don't know exactly what kind. Here's one of the lion's tail sage blooms starting. But what the lemon tree is going to go smack in the middle here, because I did try a cherimoya tree that I grew from seed, but it didn't make it through the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lemon tree right here in the middle. I do have 2 kumquat trees in the pots there. A bunch of lemon balm here. This is a persimmon. And then there's 2 donut peaches on the other side over here. And behind that, the white grevillea. So the white grevillea is kind of our hedge. There's one on the other side there. This is a Bring Me Sunshine rose. David Austin. Cannot wait for it to bloom. Look at this sedum. Look at that. That's going to be amazing. I do see the beginnings of some of my dahlias coming back, so they haven't 100% been eaten by gophers, but I fear most of them have. But these ranunculus have just been really giving us a really pretty show. Orange, pink, and the straw flower. It's this one here. Straw flower, grew that from seed and it stayed. I have some hydrangea coming here, Pinky Winky. 2 roses in this part of the garden. Love these snapdragons. These are ones that I grew last year and planted last year. The Orange Wonder and 20 Yellow, I believe, behind there. And just more beautiful ranunculus and straw flower and rose. This is a ginger snap rose back there starting to come out. So looking at this side of the building, there's a lemon verbena there, rose here in the front, and then a climbing rose on the walls, I believe a Bathsheba. Citronella, that's the name of this plant. Citronella. It is a beast. They grow huge, so fear not, just cut them back and they will come back. And we've had some bunnies and gophers eating everything, and as you I just came across that mole or something in the other part of the yard. But this garden is just full of poppies, and I feel like I always, when it's winter and they're not here, I feel like I have to plant a ton of things and fill up the beds, and then they disappear. Whatever I plant disappears behind the poppies when spring comes. This is a yellow Jerusalem sage. And here's the last of the tulips that are in this area. This was a lily flowering tulip, and then just a more regular tulip. And I do actually have over here, this one's a parrot tulip. And the only reason it bloomed this year, it's in the shade, is because it, came from a grower this year. And here's one of my little succulent gardens. This one's in a bird bath, but it does have a hole and it does drain, but I rarely water it. But it's going to continue to fill in. Look, see, I just put this leaf here, and it's already starting to grow a new little plant. So that's cool. Heading this way through the arbor. This is potato vine on this side, and yellow rose, small climbing yellow rose. I don't remember the name right now, but look at this columbine here. Isn't that gorgeous? It's in kind of a shady spot and it really shines. It's just a great spot. I know lilies look like they're doing well. I have some Crispidia planted here underneath the lemon verbena. This is a tree anemone or Carpentaria plant, so they're gonna have a white flower with a yellow center. And this is just supposed to be kind of a yellow and green and white garden. It's supposed to be kind of a pause between this very colorful area back here, which has roses and anemones and lavender and poppies and gladiola and don't know what else, but it always feels really colorful. Anywho, so between that and then the next very colorful garden, which is my office, I wanted a little vestibule to cleanse your palate, kind of a calming green and yellow area here before you go onward into the next garden. So hope that makes sense. But I kind of love this view through here. Anyway, back along here, we're still, planting food in the vegetable garden at the end there. But this is just mainly a poppy walk right now. There are catnip. There's catnip in here. There are gladiolas in here that are going to bloom. They seem to bloom by color. So the white ones are blooming now. There's another one down there. And then the orange will come, and then the purple. And I've planted a bunch of climbing roses. So that's my real push for this year, is a bunch of climbing roses that will climb up this ivy and give us some color up the wall. And into the kitchen garden, and mainly we have onions and garlic right now growing. I do see some tomatoes starting on their own and some radishes starting, which I pulled the radish over there that we didn't end up eating. I went to seed and I put the seeds over here. I do have basil and cilantro started in the house, in the breezeway, so I'm gonna put that out. I did start some climbing things here, red runner beans and another climbing bean, and I'm gonna do lettuce in the two front spots, but I just don't think these little 1/4-inch strips are gonna do it. I need to put drip tape here. Things just don't seem to thrive on these 1/4-inch strips, so I'm gonna do something else. I did put a batch of cilantro out here and broccoli. But again, I think they need more water. Well, that is the full yard tour. It was kind of rambling maybe in some spots and more in depth in certain parts of the yard, because maybe they were looking better right now this time of year than the others. But really neat to see things that I planted and really worked hard to get going in the last couple years coming to fruition and blooming and growing and filling in. And this was really, it's been a lot of work. And now, because of my hands and my legs, I need to take a break from the actual gardening. But the plants that I ordered, which those videos will be coming out later, the unboxing, I've already unboxed them, and people have already planted them for me. But that's going to be kind of the limit of what I can do for a while, is starting seeds maybe, and managing and planting the garden rather than being the one that's actually doing the work, because I just can't, you know, my body can't do it. I actually went to the carpal tunnel doctor today, and you know, just not sure what's going on with my body, but too much, just been insulted too much for too long, too many surgeries and too many injuries. So I tried to push through a lot of it, and right now all they can do is just kind of keep a positive attitude and know that you know, I still get to walk around in the yard and still get to enjoy it and still get to plant it and make it happen. But even though I'm not the one getting my hands in the dirt. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye-bye.